The Night Visitor. Darkness fell over the town like a shroud. The moon, barely visible through the clouds, cast a pale light on the narrow streets. An old, abandoned mansion lay hidden deep in the forest outside the town. Many rumors surrounded this mansion. Some said it was cursed, while others claimed a dreadful creature lived inside. Yet, no one had ever dared to uncover its true nature. Jack, one of the town's young men, didn't believe in such tales. One evening, he made a bet with his friends and decided to visit the mansion. "If you chicken out, you owe me your monthly allowance," one of his friends had said. Jack, unable to swallow his pride, accepted the challenge. Now, with a flashlight in hand, he was walking with trembling steps towards the mansion. The mansion was a ruin from years of neglect. Moss-covered walls, broken windows, and layers of dust spoke of its once grand past. Jack took a deep breath as he stood before the door and pushed it open. The door creaked loudly, revealing a vast hall. A massive chandelier hung in the center, but most of its candles had melted and shattered. Dusty furniture, tattered curtains, and old rugs covered the floor, hinting at the mansion's former splendor. Jack moved quietly into the hall. Each step he took made the floorboards creak, making the silence even more oppressive. Suddenly, he heard a rustling sound. Jack pointed his flashlight toward the source of the noise, but saw nothing. His heart began to race. "Stay calm, Jack. It's just the wind," he thought to himself. But the rustling came again, this time closer. Jack, summoning his courage, decided to follow the sound. He headed towards the stairs, and as soon as he stepped on the first stair, a floorboard collapsed beneath him. He lost his balance and fell to the ground. The flashlight slipped from his hand and rolled into the darkness. Jack coughed up the dust he had inhaled and began searching for the flashlight. When he found it, he was met with a pair of glowing eyes. These eyes were not human. They were bright and cold, like harbingers of death. Jack froze in place. The eyes slowly started to approach him. Jack, panicking, scrambled to his feet and ran up the stairs two at a time. The footsteps behind him confirmed he was being chased by something. On the upper floor, there was a long corridor. Jack sprinted to the door at the end and burst into the room, slamming the door shut behind him and locking it. He was gasping for breath. The room was an old, dimly lit bedroom. The bed was covered in dust, indicating it hadn't been used in years. Jack stood by the door, listening intently. The footsteps had stopped. He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself, but the calm was short-lived. He heard a sound from inside the room, a rustling followed by a whisper. "You shouldn't have come, ... Jack turned around, looking at the seemingly empty room, but the whispers continued. "You shouldn't have come, ... You don't belong here, ... Double quotes Jack. His hands, trembling, swept the flashlight around the room, but saw no one. Suddenly, a hand emerged from under the bed. Long, slender fingers reached for Jack's leg. He screamed and pulled back, but the hand wouldn't let go. Slowly, the creature emerged from under the bed, a ghastly figure with a large, bony head. Its eyes were like two deathly stars in the darkness. Jack, paralyzed with fear, fell to the floor as the creature crawled towards him. Jack tried to get up and flee, but the creature was already upon him. Its cold fingers tightened around Jack's throat as his screams echoed through the old mansion. From that moment on, Jack was never heard from again. The townsfolk knew he hadn't backed out from visiting the mansion, but no one had the courage to find out what had happened to him. The mansion became even more terrifying after that day. Jack's screams blended with the sound of the wind echoing through the town's streets at night. The townsfolk stopped talking about the mansion and made sure to stay indoors after dark, because everyone knew that the creature in the mansion was still waiting somewhere inside, and one day it would come out again to find a new victim.